This is Geometry Unit 8, Day 4. We're working with writing equations of circles. So the first thing we want to look at when you ever decide to write the equation is to identify the center and the radius. We have the basic form of our circle. We know that the h and the k are the values of the center. So in this case we're going to say 2 squared equals x minus 0 quantity squared, y minus 0 quantity squared. So we're going to get 4 x squared plus y squared. Your h and k are where the center is located. So when you take your equation and you plug in your radius, plug in your h value and your y value, we can still square the 2, but we don't do anything else with the parentheses. We definitely cannot distribute. You can never distribute this 2 into a binomial. We're just going to write it as x minus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared. For number 5, you got to look closely at the picture. It talks about how each unit was a block of 20 or a block of 10, so 2 of them is a radius of 20. So we have our equation. Our radius is 20, so we'll square that. Plug in our h and k. 20 squared is 400. X squared plus y squared. Now it does not matter if the 400 is on the left side or the right side. The radius squared can be on either side of your x squared plus y squared. Here we have a center with hk, so we can write 10 squared equals x minus 5 squared plus y minus 0 squared. Well, 10 squared is 100. X minus 5 quantity squared plus y squared. You've got to look at the units for this particular graph real carefully, and you'll notice that the center is at 50-50 and each unit was 10. So we have our r squared. This time let's start with the x's. So x minus 50 plus y minus 50 equals our radius squared. So nothing we would do with our exponent. You cannot distribute that through. There's nothing else to solve. You don't get y by itself. That's your equation of a circle. Again, the 50 and the 50 are both your h and k. Your negative 3 and your negative 3 are both your h and k. So we're going to have x minus a negative 3 plus y minus a negative 3. You've got to use parentheses. So that's x plus 3 quantity squared plus y plus 3 quantity squared equals 81. For these next questions, here for the original group, there were pictures in the book that went with those particular questions. Now they're just giving us the center and the radius, just like I'm writing it down here. So if our center, remember our formula is r squared equals x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared. Your center is your h and k value. So your radius is 7, x minus 0 squared, y minus 0 squared. So you get 49, x squared plus y squared. That's our final equation. We're done writing it. You don't have to simplify for anything else. H and k for your center. So we can say x minus a negative 4 plus y minus a positive 1 gives you 1 squared. So here we get x plus 4 quantity squared, y minus 1 quantity squared equals 1. Remember, the r squared can be on either side of your equation. Here I have it on the left, now I have it on the right. Doesn't matter, you'll see it both ways. H and k. Plug in your values. X minus 7 squared plus y plus 6 quantity squared. It's plus because negative times a negative gives you a positive. For our last group of questions, we have a center at hk. So we know that we're going to say r squared equals x minus h squared plus y minus k squared. Plug in your radius. Plug in your h value, which in this case is 4, and your k value, which is 1. Here we have x minus h squared plus y minus k squared. You can put the r on the right side or you can put it on the left side, doesn't matter. This is your h and k. So x minus 3 squared plus y minus a negative 5. You got to use parentheses around a negative. So minus a negative gives you a positive. And then for our final question, we have r squared equals x minus h squared, y minus k squared. Your radius is 5. We're plugging in an x minus a negative 3. So you got to use parentheses, minus a negative, plus y minus a positive 4. That gives you 25. X plus 3 quantity squared, and y minus 4 quantity squared.